Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Well, good morning. Dan DeDona here with localnews1.org weekly report for Hagerstown, Chambersburg, Smithsburg, Fairfield, Waynesboro, and all the communities that make up our local area. We're going to start off today, the very first day of May 2026, with 5 things to do this weekend, starting with Spring Fest 2026 in downtown Waynesboro, which will be bursting with into spring with food, music, and family-friendly fun. Saturday, that will be tomorrow, May 2nd, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The event is organized for residents and visitors alike and will feature more than 10 food trucks, 150 retail vendors, along with inflatable bounce houses, obstacle courses, a beer garden, and live music throughout the day. The festival aims to bring folks together to celebrate the season while supporting local businesses. Free admission and parking is available. Second up on the list, in downtown Hagerstown, they are set to transform a sprawling open-air gallery this week, or I should say this weekend, at the Main Street, as Main Street Hagerstown hosts Hagersfest 2026, also on Saturday, May 2nd. Their festivities kick off at 11 a.m. in the morning. It's a free community festival designed to celebrate the city's vibrant arts and entertainment scene. They'll have musical acts, including the Reagan Years, who are really pretty good, Mac Berry Band, and University Plaza, alongside the National Murals Awards, and a live graffiti battle at the Hub City Brewery. Apparently Hub City gets to be redecorated this weekend. There are other experiences. Excuse me. Be sure to take a look. It should be a lot of fun. Gardeners who are looking to trade blooms instead of buying them can dig into a community favorite at the Tuscarora Wildlife Education Project, or TWEP Perennial Exchange, also on Saturday, May 2nd from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. That'll take place at the Charles Brightbill Environmental Center in Mercersburg. It'll be hosted by TWEP, and it's a free event. It invites participants to bring your own perennials from your own gardens and swap them for other varieties. Pretty neat idea. Exchange encourages residents to refresh their flower beds and share gardening knowledge, connecting with others in the community. Next up on the list, item number 4, Raise a Glass in Franklin County, as the 12th annual Greencastle Antrim Craft Beer, Wine, and Spirits Festival will be kicking off on Saturday from noon until 5 p.m. This will be offering attendees a chance to sample local brews, wines, and distilled spirits while meeting the makers behind them. This is sponsored by M&T Bank, and it's a 21 and over event featuring unlimited pours if you're just desperately thirsty, with a commemorative tasting cup, food trucks, live music, and games of chance. Full pour mugs are available for purchase. It's organized to showcase regional producers and bring the community together. Tickets are $35 for general admission, $30 for the early bird special. Gates opening at noon, and photo ID is required. And the 5th item on 5 things to do this weekend, the Hagerstown Choral Arts is inviting the community to experience an afternoon of powerful and diverse choral music during its free spring concert also on Saturday at 3 p.m. at St. John's Episcopal Church at 101 South Prospect Street in Hagerstown. The volunteer auditioned ensemble will perform a mix of traditional and contemporary works by composers including Aaron Copeland, John Rutter, Mac Wilberg, and Andrea Ramsey, showcasing its mission to bring high-quality choral music to the tri-state area. Should be a lot of fun. More information is available at hca-md.org. We have a number, this being summer and people finally breaking out from the winter, we have a number of additional items that didn't make the first 5 cut, starting with Shalom Christian Academy's Dutch Fest, which is now in its 48th year. It's a pretty good effort. They'll be returning to the Franklin County Fairgrounds at the Chambersburg Rod and Gun Club on both today, May 1st, and tomorrow, Saturday, May 2nd, from 5 to 9 p.m. on Friday and from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. Admission and parking are free. The event will be held rain or shine. The annual event serves as a major fundraiser for the pre-K through 12th grade school and draws families from across the region for food auctions and community activities. It'll feature a wide range of food. Hurley auctions will be there for the live general auction on Saturday. There's an SCA 5K race that will be beginning at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, the 2nd, with a new cross-country and natural terrain course. Participants can check in on Friday evening or Saturday morning for that, and walkers are also welcome. There'll be a lot of children's activities on both days. Worship sessions are scheduled Friday evening and will feature contemporary Christian artist Leslie McKee, leading music and sharing messages centered on faith and encouragement. Next up, this will be the 7th item. The 29th Annual Chambersburg Trout Derby will begin on Friday, May 1st, with check-in and on-site registration from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Trout Derby check-in station, 125 West Washington Street. That's in Chambersburg. Participants can also pick up event packets during that time. A fish fry dinner will be open to the public for an additional $20. The Derby continues on Saturday, May 2nd from 6 until 8 p.m. The event gives anglers opportunities to fish, enjoy local activities, and take part in family-friendly programming. Boonesboro will be hosting its annual Youth Fishing Derby, offering a free morning of outdoor fun for children aged 2 to 12. This is because the facility that they're going to be fishing at is restricted to children of those ages and certain other people, the blind and some others. That'll be taking place Saturday, May 2nd from 8 a.m. until noon, located at the Hawkins Grove Pond at the fishing pond behind the Boonesboro Library on Potomac Street. Organizers ask families to enter through the Schaefer Park and use the parking lot beside the police department at 241 Potomac Street. Children will fish in 2 age groups. Participants 2 to 8 will register from 8 to 8:30, followed by fishing from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. And those aged 9 through 12 will register from 9:30 to 10 a.m. and will fish from 10 to noon. If you have a family that consists of multiple aged kids, they recommend that you select the latter group, and there'll be no problem with that. Fishing poles will be available for folks that don't have them, and the annual derby aims to introduce young participants to fishing while providing a safe and accessible environment for families to enjoy the outdoors. And finally, on Sunday, somebody's doing something on Sunday. The Wayne Band, which is a community ensemble based in Waynesboro, will present a free concert at 3 p.m. Sunday the 3rd at the Faith in Christ United Methodist Church, 100 South Church Street. The event is open to the public, offers handicap accessibilities. It'll showcase a range of traditional selections performed by local musicians. The Wayne Band is known for providing accessible, family-free performances that highlight classic wind band repertoire. Okay, now we're going to move on. A lot of what's been happening in the last couple of weeks and will be happening here in a not too distant future is elections. We wanted to just take a moment to remind everybody why it's important about these elections, and it really goes back to why do we have a self-governing republic? I can assure you that every vote that you cast and every vote that you don't cast, regardless of whether you participate or not, actively participate or not, either way, you are participating in a decision to delegate your rights, because we've agreed for about 250 years now that all rights belong to citizens, but our individual rights end where other people's rights begin. And for that reason, we have to come together in some fashion or form to decide how we're going to live together, not as just a gaggle of individuals. That means government is necessary, and government is where we agree to limit our individual rights so that we can live, raise families, and work and prosper together. The problem with governments, though, is it was recognized also 250 years ago that governments in general are the greatest individual threat to individual liberty. So the grand deal that has been struck in this country, and which we have exercised over 250 years, is this. Citizens agree to be governed and to obey laws passed by their representatives, and the government agrees to protect individual rights, safety, and promotes the general welfare. So there is never a time when an elected official is not using your delegated rights, for right or for wrong, to shape how we live. So there is also never a time when we can kick back and assume that we elected angels. And because we don't elect angels, that's why you need to vote and pay attention. So Local News 1 has stepped up our election coverage to try to help prepare you for voting. That's coming up in just here in the future. Hagerstown in particular, their area religious council, the League of Women's Voters, and the Washington County Library is sponsoring forums on the 7th and 21st of May, and again on the 1st and 15th of October from 6 until 8 p.m. at the library concerning elections for the Board of Education and for the commissioners. All that takes place at the library. You can also see a series of stories that Local News has run about Maryland congressional candidates, Senate candidates, and also the commissioners, where those candidates have agreed to participate and provide information. We have published that for you so that you can see what it is they're talking about. Over in Franklin County and Pennsylvania, voter registration will be ending for this coming 19th of May primaries on Monday. This coming Monday, the 4th of May, for the 19 May primaries. For information about how to get registered, if you are not already, contact the Franklin County Voter Registration Office or the Election Board. You can find both of them online. You should also see stories that, just like we're doing for Maryland, for Franklin County and for Adams County, we are also running lists of candidates so that you can be better prepared. All right. Moving on to other news. Just before we came in today, we were notified that there was a crash on Route 16 going up the mountain east of Waynesboro. You should just simply be aware of that. In Hagerstown, they are continuing their review of a $13.7 million capital budget. This is interesting because this budget is actually $3.8 million less than last year. And they're going to have a hearing in May on the subject. They're reviewing significant allocations for fire, public safety, which is also how they say police, and for renovations. But the figure is coming down, interestingly enough, by $3.8 million. So good work on the part of the folks in Hagerstown. Washington County is addressing water and sewage rates and also Hancock Emergency Management Services. They'll also be looking at Hagerstown airport fees, among others. Smithsburg is also focusing on water and sewage rates. We've reported previously that they got a grant. I think it was for something like $2.4 million to upgrade their water pipes, which were 75 years old. And then subsequently, they got a report from a contractor that said, yeah, $2.4 million isn't quite going to cut it. So they had a number of options available to them. As a result, they are looking at raising rates, although not as much as earlier studies had indicated. They're looking at a 5% increase in water rates and a 3.5% for sewage rates. Interesting enough, they've accepted a plan which is woven into this series of studies that they've asked for. And this represents the first overall plan for water and sewage that they've had in a very, very long time. So they're very grateful that they've got something that they can look at and will act as a guide or a map as they move forward to make sure that they continue to provide these services. In Chambersburg, Green Light Fiber is announcing a $5.8 million investment in the Chambersburg area. They want to extend their fiber services to 5,000 homes and small businesses in the Chambersburg area. And there are more on the capabilities, the detailed capabilities that they're bringing along in localnews1.org. Also in Chambersburg, Naus Food Processing Company, which is headquarters in Adams County, is going to be closing its doors for its Chambersburg facility on the 31st of December of this year. They'll be losing 120 jobs as a result of that. This is a result of an overall internal review of what they need to be doing, how they need to be doing it in the future. So it's unfortunate. 120 jobs will be, or 150 jobs will be departing the area. And on the 28th of April in Waynesboro, the long journey for Steve Pappas, who was being charged. Actually, the administration had decided that they wanted to demote him, and he took the harder path of asking for a public hearing. The school board has decided to reinstate him effective the 1st of July. There are still some community concerns from a variety of public speakers who showed up at that event, but at least that primary issue is taken care of. We'll continue to follow these additional issues as they make themselves known. In Franklin County, with about 160,000 residents, it was reported that they've seen an increase in evictions since the COVID eviction ban was lifted in 2020. In a neighborhood of about 6,611 total, 125 of them in this past March. The counterpoint to this story is that there are a high number of what are referred to as rent burdened. In the neighborhood of a third of the population of Franklin County is what they call rent burdened. And the poverty rate is listed as 7.8%. So these are two tough things that are converging here. We'll follow up on this to see whether or not the commissioners or the city or other communities in the area are taking steps to try to help these folks out. In Letterkenny, we reported previously on an accidental shooting that is being pursued by the family. A young gentleman was shot about a month ago. Family, I guess they didn't exactly use these words, but the impression one gets from listening to the family is the government hasn't been completely forthcoming with information about what was going on and what happened to their son. Letterkenny, for its part, notes that the Department of Justice blocked release of the autopsy, and they also note, as in many cases of this sort, that the Army official investigation is continuing. So there will eventually be more information, but as usual in most of these cases, law enforcement and legal authorities tend to be a little shy about sharing information until they know exactly what they're talking about. At least we would hope that they would be. But with luck, and I hope a good sound sense of duty on the part of the Army, they'll be able to advise the family exactly what happened in hopefully not too long a period of time. Hagerstown Community College is hosting Maryland Motors at the DM Bowman Work Facility training facility. This is a one-day course that's offered for motorcycle riders. That'll be beginning Friday, today, and continuing free for one day. The story didn't say for how long this goes, but I assume this will go throughout the summer or until nobody starts showing up. That's a very good thing to offer. There are, as a former bike rider myself, I can attest that drivers frequently look right in their mirror and they just don't see you because they don't expect to see you. So there are things that you need to do as a rider to make sure not only that you've got good control of your vehicle, but also keep an eye out for what drivers are doing, because if they don't see you, they're going to start maneuvering and that can cause trouble for you. So This is a good course to go to and help you learn the skills quickly so that you don't run into those bad situations and learn them the hard way. In Waynesboro, Rotary Park, which is owned and operated by the borough, earned an Arboretum status in a ceremony on the 24th of April. And being an arboretum requires at least 25 different kinds of trees to be planted within your park or your space. And as it turns out, Rotary Park in Waynesboro has got 28. And they continue to add more as time goes on. So there are a lot of activities, all donated by people. It hasn't cost any money to do this, but it's a pretty neat deal. And they've put up signs so that you can actually see what kinds of trees are actually included out there. In police news, two quick things. A Waynesboro man, Mohammed Nasir al-Majari, was charged with 2 counts of endangering a child and 10 counts of possessing a prohibited substance. In Chambersburg, police are seeking tips on a 10-year-old court case that involved 75-year-old Lee Johnson, who was found shot in the chest 10 years ago, and the case has never been resolved. But they are going back for some reason. They've got some reason to believe that they might be able to see that justice is served in that particular case, and they are offering a $5,000 reward for anybody that can share any information that they have about this case. In People News, in Washington County, Neil, I think it's pronounced Parrott, P-A-R-R-O-T-T, who has been a representative as well as a civil engineer and a contractor and done a number of things in Washington County. He was appointed to replace Derek Harvey, whom you may recall in a previous report, decided to resign for other opportunities about a month and a half ago. Turns out the procedure for that requires that the governor replace the person who has resigned, fill the seat, and there are guidelines to that. So Mr. Parrott has been appointed, and the Washington County Commissioners are now back up to full strength with 5 members. In health news, the Pennsylvania Department of Health advises that people throughout the area, Maryland as well, should be ramping up their tick precautions. We've moved out of flu season, and we're moving into tick season. And they offer a variety of advice on clothing, repellents, and how to inspect yourself and your children to see to it whether or not you've picked up a tick or two. That's very, very good advice. Okay, a couple other things I can recommend to you in local news. Local history is produced every single Tuesday. The writings of Dargan Boy come out on Thursdays. We have extensive sports covering lacrosse, covering softball, baseball. All the spring sports are being covered, including league standings and the schedules for high schools in the coming month. We also are looking at many more stories to cover the mosaic that represents the communities in which we live. On that point, we are always looking for people to cover additional stories. I get comments from time to time that it appears that we don't cover some communities as well as we might. And I can tell you it's not for want of desire. It is 100% because we are still looking for writers, and especially local writers who actually want to share what's going on in their communities. We have a lot of difficulty with that in the Chambersburg area, where I think we may have somebody in mind for Smithsburg here pretty soon. But there are a lot of smaller communities. We make it a point to try to see to it that everybody gets covered. You don't have to be Hagerstown or Waynesboro or Chambersburg or any of those guys, and any of the larger communities to merit coverage. If you or your church or your local business are sponsoring some activity, we want to share that so people can they will at least know that you're putting it on. They'll make up their own minds, but we want to share that information with everybody. So if you know of people who like to write and would like to write on a regular basis, we actually pay people to write. So get in touch with us. at localnews1.org. We're very proud to be the news source for Standing Media. You can see all the local news at localnews1.org. We are all local. We don't do any national that we can possibly avoid, unless it's actually occurring here in our coverage area. And with that, I will leave you with the thought of the day, which is particularly appropriate in the wake of stories about teachers and hearings. There's this story about the cross-eyed teacher who lost her job because she could not control her pupils. Bada bing. Have a great week.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.